Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Quee. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to help the show, follow us on Twitter at Battle Rap Resume. Support us on Patreon if you want to give back financially. You can get access to interviews like this, episodes, everything that goes on the channel goes on there first. Leave us a review on iTunes as well. Leave us a comment, subscribe. You've heard me say that I say this a million times, but, I appreciate all the support. But, yeah, one of the great things about this show is not only having great guests on, it's having great guests back, and one of the best to ever do it. Respek, BA, how's it going, man?
What's happening, mate? Thank you very much. That was a very complimentary introduction.
Of course. I mean, we went through pretty much everything on the first episode, but today we're going to be catching up, looking at the Serius Jones battle as well, which I've made my notes on this morning just before work, and obviously I was there live and I saw it, and I remember actually when I saw it, I was standing at the back of the room, and I didn't even realise, but standing next to me was Soul. Soul wasn't on stage with all the battlers. He was just at the back, and he was just entranced. And it was a brilliant performance, man.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you. I aim to fucking do the best I can in every battle because, I don't know, I understand that sometimes battle rap can be a popularity contest. So I feel like I'm at a disadvantage sometimes because every now and again, I will just duck off and vanish into fucking thin air for a while. And it's hard to maintain being the top of the popularity contest if you're sporadic. Because of that, I feel like I need to write 3 times as much as I would need to if I was in the scene more often to make sure it's a clear, decisive thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my mentality with every battle is I need to write 3 times as much as I normally would to beat someone. 3 times is good.
Right. And I'm not sure if we mentioned this in the actual episode, but I remember we spoke about Checkpoint 4 because we were building up to it, and I thought it was going to be like a promo, but you weren't that excited to battle Serius Jones, I remember.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what it is? It just, for some reason, didn't motivate me at the time. So that was like an unmotivated performance, but don't get it twisted. Discipline always beats motivation, and I've never been really motivated, always disciplined. So I don't motivation is fleeting. Motivation gives you an excuse to not write that day, or no, it's cool, I'll do it later when I'm in the mood for it, and blah blah blah. I guarantee you Cristiano Ronaldo isn't motivated, mate. He's fucking disciplined. Do you know what I mean? And that's something you can get from martial arts, and it's something I applicate to music as well. So I'm a disciplined MC. So whether I'm motivated or not, you're going to get a certain standard. But I was also motivated as well as disciplined for Tony D. But yeah, I still think, you know what it is, like, different people like different things. But from my perspective, Serius Jones is an elite name, but skill-wise, I just don't class him as elite. So I understood what I had to do to beat him. I know some people would disagree with that, and some people do class him as elite skill-wise. This is just my personal standard for a battle rapper I'm viewing it from. But yeah,
it's more with Serius, isn't it? It's because there is this thing. I don't know. I do like him as a person, but he doesn't seem to connect. It's more a respect thing, isn't it? Because of the Fight Club, etc.
Yeah, obviously he's got a ridiculous history in this, like similar to me over here. He has that history in the USA, so I mean it's still a name, and and don't get it twisted, man. Like he's still arguably, beat Disaster a few weeks before. So it's not like he's a relic of a bygone era just standing about getting bodied off at everybody. Some people argue that he's still never lost a battle. I don't know about that because you know me, I don't really do research in that way on my opponents, so I haven't seen too many of his modern era battles. But from what I hear, it's not too often that he even loses a battle on camera. So No,
you're right, actually. I listen to a lot of Angry Fan Radio, which is kind of like talk sport radio, but for battle rap, and it's all American based, and they always talk about Serius and Mook and all these sort of people, and they had some caller up, and he was like, "Oh, Serius is undefeated on cam," and I remember screaming out, I was like, "You haven't seen the Respek BA battle? It hasn't came out yet." Like, it's so annoying.
You know what's funny about this battle? Actually, you probably have made notes on bars and shit like that. Yeah. And we're going to be discussing shit that people haven't even had the opportunity to see yet. That's true, is what it is. You know what? It's so frustrating as well, man. I mean, I don't want to get into the specifics of the don't flop issues because it's been done to death. Yeah. But I will say that I got so frustrated, I personally contacted Kruger and was like, "Yo, how much do I need to drop you for you to just edit my battle so I can get that shit out?" Because, you know, I was trying to build somewhat of a momentum.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with the whole don't flop situation, actually, if you'll allow me to go into this for a second, right? So, from my perspective, I worked fucking hard from being in absolute nowhere and then coming back straight away and making a big impression and impact and then continuing that with taking another big name. And there was a momentum build there. And unfortunately, I'd just been offered the number one contender battle with Shuffle T.
Right.
When Don't Flop went tits up. So for me, it was like, I worked so hard to get this momentum back up, and now everything's in the air, no one's on the throne. I'm sure you've heard through the grapevine there's like fucking 6 companies all kicking about just now, and I'm in a situation where I've been contacted by basically every single new company. And I feel like just now, I don't know if it's in my benefit to do something, because what if I do something for the people that don't win the race? And then it's just like a fucking battle sitting on a channel with 2,000 subscribers and fucking 5,000 views. So I feel like, I don't know, I mean, I understand some battle rappers, it's important to get a little payday or keep their names up in the mix or continue building their rep depending on what stage they're at in their career as a battle rapper. But for me, I feel like the smartest move, unless KOTD says what's cracking, would be to just sit it out for a little bit and see who fucking wins this race. Because that's what it's turned into. And I've turned down like 5 or 6 things already.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, there's, I mean, Chalked Out, Code Red, the premier battles that are kicking off with they've got, at the time of us recording this, they're just counting down to their big announcement, so we don't know what that is. But
yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, I was asked to join 2 separate teams in that league. I was considering joining both and pulling the ultimate snake move, you know what I mean?
I mean, can we just go back for a second? Sorry, you were supposed to battle Shuffle T. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, you know what? Because of my performances against Jones and fucking Tony, and then the fact that, you know, Shocks was on it as well, they said, you know, you get a number one contender battle with Shuffle T, and the winner of that gets the title match. So, and you know me, like you've heard me the last time we spoke, and when we spoke outside these events, it's about. Some people think titles are pointless, but to me, it's like, well, if there's no title, what the fuck are we doing? It's like pro wrestling. Is this truly a sports still, or has it become a talent show? You know what I mean? So to me, titles are important, and to be able to say, yeah, I'm the fucking champion of the whole of the UK, is a great thing to be able to do, and you can't do that unless there's some sort of official title in place for you to aspire to. Otherwise, it is just literally showing up to keep your name in the mix and promote yourself and basically putting on a talent show, which to me, battle rap isn't about, and it certainly didn't used to be about that. It was combat, you know what I mean? So yeah, so anyway, so now that that's all went fucked, obviously there's no like clear path for me. And the opponents they've been giving me, while good, and no disrespect to any of the names that were put forward for me, you know, I just battled Tony D, who was like the dawn of Great Britain for 3 years, and then I battled Serius Jones, who's one of the biggest legends in the history of American battle rap. So I'm looking to keep that course of trajectory going. And until something meets that, I'm quite happy to fucking sit back on a little deck chair with my feet up and see who wins this little fucking battle we've got going on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's choppy waters at the moment. Nothing's settled yet. Who knows what's going to go forward? And it's kind of the beauty was that you sort of came in, shook everything up, and kind of because you've gone again, it almost helps the legacy even more. I mean, one of your battles hasn't even came out yet, as you say. So
yeah, mate. I'm happy being that fucking. That fly in the ointment every now and again, you know. I like the idea of being the boogeyman, you know. Everyone pretends I don't exist and shit, and then every now and again I'm like, nah, dude, don't forget, don't ever forget. So yeah.
And we will move on from the Shuffle T battle, I promise. But just one final thing about it, though. I mean, stylistically, I think it'd be such a good battle because you're so different to what each of you have faced before, but kind of similar, I guess, in a multi-sense.
Yeah. I think one of my skills as a battle rapper, which I don't think too many battle rappers have, is right. Some people are so street that when they use jokes, it seems out of place, and some people are so comical they could never get in your face legitimately and be seen as a serious. And I think I have that nice balance where I can, you know, call someone a pedo in one line and then get up in their face and, you know, say I'll stab them in that, and both work for me. And I think Shuffle's one of the best ever on the comedy end of the spectrum. If you were thinking of the people who specifically try and get laughs out of a crowd, the list would be short, and it would be, you know, like Shuffle, O'Shea would be the two that proper stand out.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Don't Flop will come back. It seems pretty unlikely at the time of us recording this, but, you know, regardless. So, yeah, we get to the Serious battle. Very cool to see you rocking the Chef Spendables tee.
Yeah, mate, no doubt. And I got a jumper now as well. Like, tees ain't real. Yeah. I would prefer to rock a jumper on stage. So next time I do a battle, I'll have the Chef Spendables jumper on, you know. But yeah, I'm an honorary member of the Chef Spendables. I believe I'm the only one not from Sheffield as well, you know, so it's a big compliment.
And I mean, always, whenever Psychosis comes up, of course, shout out to Theo. I'm such a huge fan of that guy in so many different ways. Low Down Shelter, I should say. Is that still going? There hasn't been an episode in a while, has there?
Yeah, there hasn't been one in about 4 weeks, but we decided to take a little breather just because I was finishing off this album, and Theo's proper getting cracking on Unit 11 just now. On top of that, you know, he's spinning plates as always. He's, you know, doing artwork, and he's doing little mini documentaries for the Slimehouse channel. So yeah, but we're going to be doing another podcast soon because we want to talk about Stranger Things 2, which dropped on Netflix last week. So we've got to talk about that shit because we both love that shit.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously everyone listening, I've said this multiple times on the show, check out Slimehouse TV, subscribe to the channel. So much good content. Like, Theo genuinely has made me a toy fan. Like, I was into it sort of before, but his enthusiasm and his knowledge, like, you ask my girlfriend, like, whenever I watch YouTube, all the suggested is always just toy documentaries and shit, and like Kenner, and, you know, so obviously shout out to Theo. But yeah, with the Serious Jones battle, I mean, did you watch much Fight Club? Were you a fan of that sort of stuff, or?
Well, the thing is, battle rap was much easier to keep tabs on internationally back then because there was literally probably like 3 or 4 English-speaking leagues in the entire world. So yeah, I caught up on Fight Club and everything back then. I remember watching, you know, Solomon against Jin and all that. I like the little setup, mate. That's still to this day like the most gangster setup for a rap battle, just a pool table with a stack of money in the middle. That's some fucking real shit, mate. You know what I mean?
So you must feel real cocky having the balls to call me zombie when you're the one that's still talking after you've been bodied. Let's go, So if you're trying to prove you're so smart, you're getting off to a slow start. To track all the money you owe folk, you need a flow chart. And now you claim you want to become an actor. But you ain't getting cast in no parts unless they decide to remake Jaws with a loan shark.
And what did you think of battling in concrete? Obviously, low ceiling, slightly above the crowd. Did you enjoy it, or?
Yeah, it's all good, mate. Like, to be honest, no venue, like, we could be battling in a fucking cupboard, a pool hall, a giant 50,000 seat arena. Like, it really doesn't bother me. I don't get stage fright or any of that shit. I get impatient before a battle, but I never get nervous when I'm standing there on stage. Like, I've been an MC since I was fucking 17, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, I mean, that shows because you kick off straight away by flipping his hat, which had the wolf on it, away from Mac. I mean, that's just in your DNA, isn't it? Thinking of rebuttals, flips, etc.
Yeah. You know what was fucking funny, mate? Like, see, before a battle, I sort of like... It's like I'm about to spar or something. Like, I get into a different, arrogant, fuck all these guys, where is this cunt mode?
Right.
So as soon as he came in the building, literally I only had about 30 seconds because my man was mad late and I was standing on the fucking stage hype, like literally saying to the crowd, like, where is this cunt? And all that, you know what I mean? So he shows up and just like, in the little time I had, I was like, what can I say about this bland black wearing motherfucker? Like, all he had on was black in it, so I was like, oh, he's got a little wolf on his hat, that'll do, cool.
And you know, you go for the obvious, but in the best possible way. I think we said this on the past episode, like, you know, the way you sort of attack things, even the pedo bars against Tony, really, really original. You have to talk about Hoffa, don't you, when you battle Serius?
Yeah, man, and you know what? He was making such a big deal about, like, oh, we're going to keep talking about Mafia, what I got to do? He actually said, like, what I got to do? Punch someone to make people stop talking about Mafia? It'd be like, nah, mate, that would make people talk about Maf and give them more material about you punching someone. You know what I mean? It's just how it goes. It's a huge thing to happen to you in a battle. Yeah. Like, you can count on one hand how many people have got sparked, and on one finger how many people have got knocked the fuck out, and that's Serious Jones, isn't it? Like, it is what it is.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, you know what? Anybody that, again, I don't know if I touched on this. I even touched on it in the Tony battle. It's all about how good you are when you do it. You know, people that say mum jokes are played out.
Right.
Mum jokes are played out if you're not creative. If you're creative, mum jokes will never be played out because you can think of a billion original, hilarious ideas, and yet, or girlfriend jokes, or, you know, whatever fucking significant family member you want to put that to. It's the same with anything. Old jokes, tall jokes, short jokes, pedo jokes, getting punched by Math Hoffa jokes, and
Scottish jokes.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And it's all about how creative you are. And I mean, that should be your. If you're not creative and you're battle rapping, you fucked up.
Yeah,
you done fucked up.
Yeah,
so,
You tie it into Lush owing him cash. What will it take to make you realise math isn't your strong suit? Which is just, you know, really, really strong. I mean, I love the way your brain goes when you multi. I love hearing Fraser Crane and then Leighton Baines. Tried to bring some old left back like Leighton Baines. It's amazing.
Mate, I had like. See that list of names, by the way? That was like half of them. I had so many, man.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And another thing that battle rap fans love, it's wrestling, especially Ric Flair. So the crowd like erupts when you mention him.
Yeah, you know what? I fucking when I wrote that bar, there's certain bars, you know, sometimes it's hard to gauge your own material. But I was like, there's no way that shit's not gonna go off because like it is kind of fucking. You know, he did do a big woo just before he got punched. So
I
mean,
he did.
That's the first thing I thought of, basically. So yeah, pleased it went down. But when I wrote it, I was like, this has got to go off.
Yeah. It worked, and I mean, really just original thinking here. I love this. Yank Can't See Me, David Attenborough's Planet Earth.
Yeah. You know what? I fucking don't even know how I got there, mate. I just thought it was a nice little setup. Not many people reacted to it, but it's one of them things that gives the battle a little bit of replay value.
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with Blue Planet 2?
I saw the first episode, you know. It's fucking, you know what? When I watched it, I was like, yo, I swear they've had digital after effects on this shit. Because where's the bubbles and all this shit? You know, it just looks so crisp and all the sounds and shit. But apparently that's how it came out on the cameras. That's impressive, man.
It is. I mean, that fish using tools, that blew my mind.
Yeah, man. The uprising is real, mate. They're coming for us.
The rainbow in the sky, you treat it like a bat signal. I mean, that's like out of 07 in the best possible way. That's such a heavy hitter bar.
Well, yeah, you know, that's one of them ones that, like, I wouldn't disrespect that bar by putting a fucking date stamp on it. You know what it is? Right. That's one of them bars that if I was a stand-up comedian and someone in the front row gave me shit and I said that to them, it would get the same reaction as it did in a battle. It's just like a stand-up comedy level line rhyme.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, completely. You say the whole pocket check, The Walking Dead. I don't watch it myself, Respek Bear. Are you a Walking Dead fan?
I was a big fan of the first 2 seasons, and then I drifted off in the third. I know I do actually mention it twice in that battle, but it's just because of the flip I thought of at the time just so happened to fucking, you know.
Yeah. I've heard that it's now terrible. I know it's on.
Yeah, but me and Theo did a zombie special on Slimehouse. Don't get it twisted. I like zombie films because my whole shit is post-apocalyptic shit.
Right.
So zombies are like, to me, a subgenre of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean?
And I mean, we're serious. He's not bad in this battle, but it's quite unfortunate these opening bars we get like a kilt Scottish Longshanks Braveheart scheme.
Oh man, you know what? I don't know, man. It's like when an American first came to battle over in the UK. Is how I saw some of his lines. Like, you know, when there was the first international battle with an American in the UK, and they're fucking name checking London Bridge and fucking. You know, like, I don't know, the first sort of things you would imagine someone would think of.
Yeah. Luckily, he didn't say Buckingham, but I mean, pretty much everything else is there. It's just, we get a bangers and mash as well.
Yeah. That was the one that actually made me fucking face palm on stage.
Respek BA, how are you going to tell us how to feel about you? It's kind of what. Have you heard that before, though? It felt a bit.
Yeah. You know, I've heard stuff similar to that so many times. But yeah, he worded it in a way I hadn't heard. But, you know, same sort of shit, you know.
Yeah, I don't mind Chanel to get a European bag across the seas.
Yeah. That's one of them ones you could use. I guess he could have used on any opponent he had, but it was still good wordplay. Fuck it. I'm not trying to shit on the guy either.
No. Of course, no. And you know, similar to yourself, I spoke to him afterwards. We got the interview on the channel. He's an awesome guy. You know, definitely no disrespect, but you say it's 1-0 to you at the start of your second, and you're not lying, are you?
Well, I didn't think I was. Having said that, I did speak to one American guy who thought Serius Jones took the first and I took the second too.
Really?
But yeah, but in my eyes, I don't know. I just think there's like, you have to understand that you can't just say, oh, he said a bar there, so that was a bar, and he said a bar there, so that was a bar. You have to understand there's like a billion different levels to the quality, originality, hilarity, cleverness of bars. And I just think that, like, when I hit with something, there's nothing in any of his rounds that are as on that level of a bar, in my opinion. But I'm just thinking about this shit competitively. I don't want to come across like a hater or nothing.
No. I concur. And I just like the ad libs at the start as well, where he's talking about hometown bias, and you're explaining that there's 2 different countries between you. Yeah,
well, mate, he led himself into that, didn't he? He said hometown shit. And then I was like, 2 different countries, mate. And then he went close enough. And you know what I mean? Fucking. Oh, you know what? It was just I was prepared to get knocked out by Serius Jones in that battle, mate. I was like, he's not getting an inch.
Yeah.
So, like, see when he goes, okay, that was cute. Straight away, I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? An inch, mate, not one. And that was just my strategy. So I thought, any time he tries to say some smart shit, I'll be right there.
You mentioned him trying to be an actor. I didn't realise. Is that something he's trying to do, or?
Well, because he's in the film Bodied.
Oh yes, he is. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, that and I was on his Twitter, and it says, like, you know, rapper / actor.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where that comes from.
Yeah. Math made you do a permanent slow it down.
Made your brain do
Made your brain do a permanent slow it down. Oh man, great. Yeah. Again, it's just the sort of the visceral, the precision of your attack, and you know, Serius again in a second. He talks of watching the fight the night before. Had you watched it together, or was he just sort of mentioning it in general?
No, I never watched it with him, but that was one of the few. I'm not as up on my boxing now as I used to be. You might think I watch everything combat related because I'm such a martial art head, actually I pick and choose my boxing matches because my favourite era, I guess, was the 90s. I've got a little fucking theory. Do you want to hear my theory on sport, Tom? It'll take a minute.
No, please, yeah.
So I've got a theory, right, that all sports start with the natural alphas dominating, right? And they absolutely crunch people that are maybe better athletes. And then more rules come into place for safety, which allows the athletes a way in to start outmaneuvering natural alphas. And then they generate so much money, more and more rules get put in place, and it gets dialed down, and athletes start dominating what used to be controlled by alphas. I think you could say that of football. Right. If you look at 80s and 90s football compared to football today, I think you could say that a shitload of sports. American football, MMA is in the golden era just now, where it's a perfect balance of technique, athleticism, and alpha males. And boxing is unfortunately past that, and it's in an era of athletes all playing towards rules, and it doesn't seem like a real fight anymore. So that's why I don't like boxing as much. But 90s boxing and 80s boxing and shit like that was like the golden era of boxing, when you had really high level offensive and defensive technique, but everybody was still looking to actually fight.
Right. Yeah, so, interesting, yeah. And, I mean, from that profound point, we have Serius doing a transparent line in the second. I mean, come on! When he did that, I remember in the room, everyone was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, man. You know, I will say, people discredit the things I was subtly doing in that battle to like take charge. You know, like I mentioned this in the Slimehouse podcast. Like even before it, see when I noticed, you know, when me and him were standing on stage, the DJ must have spun like 3 tracks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And the first 2 tracks, I forget what they were, but they were American cats, and you know the crowd were getting into it, and me and him were like ad-libbing certain things. And then the third track though was Murder by Kalashnikov. And I was like, he doesn't know this shit. So I made a point to like hype up the crowd and fucking rap it along with the crowd. And that straight away is like, he had to stand there looking like a goon at that point because he didn't know them lyrics. You know what I mean? So all them little subtle things I was doing to like subtly take charge though, mate. I think... And the reason people, I believe, started to groan at his shit was after the Bangers and Mash shit, I was face palming. Like, I think a lot of MCs are very nice and respectful to their opponents during rounds, and it's not that I'm looking to be disrespectful, but if you do spit something that I think is actually shit, I'm not going to stand there like, oh, it's okay, let him try, like, nah, mate. You know what I mean? It's not in my DNA to ever do that. I will always be like, yo, that was shit, mate. You know what I mean? So, Right.
Yeah, and you're Liverpool, and, you know, this. He quotes gigs at the end and gets sort of a pity, like, recognition. And, you know, he ends his second, the same he ends his first, like, Life is Serious. I think that's like his brand or something. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, he had his little slogan going, didn't he? So, yeah. That's one down in your hometown. Yeah. Life is serious. Yeah.
And again, with the way you start these rounds, you know, you're like, now that shit round is over. It's just how you start your third.
Yeah. That was just something I decided to say at the time, innit? But
and you know, you hark back. That's what I'm always really impressed with this stuff. Like, you're sort of pulling back to what's gone on in the battle before. So obviously he did all the Scotland stuff to kick off his first. In your third, you sort of talk about Trump. All the stuff you mentioned about my country's past isn't half as funny as your country's present. That's so strong.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, I think that bar got the best crowd reaction on the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's one of the few. I don't know. It's a bar that mentions Trump, which is always fucking walking a tightrope of it just being a bait cultural reference bar. But I think that bar was of a quality where it was cool to reference Trump and it not just be one of them bait. Oh, Donald Trump, you know, fucking.
Yeah.
It was actually retorting to some shit he did. So.
Yeah. I completely agree. And the round, again, very credible. You know, I have you free zip, and I think most people do and did when I was speaking to them in the room and subsequently. Obviously, it hasn't came out yet, but I don't even know if the pay-per-view is available to buy anymore. So
yeah, fuck knows, man. Like, mate, I just want to see this shit go out.
Yeah.
Earl actually hit me up and he was like, hinted at me just allowing him to put up the one camera angle thing. But I'm not on that. But having said that, fucking hell, this shit is dragging on now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, is there going to be a resolution to that, or are all the MCs who appeared on that card just now fucked for those battles? Because it takes time to write this shit, and yes, we were paid for our services, but at the same time, to me, it's not about the money. The money is just a representation of respect. It's still about doing this shit and letting people see what we've done. And I understand, I'm sure they're both stressing and have bigger fish to fry and this and that, but at the same time, they should spare a thought for all the MCs that competed on the card that still haven't had their battles released yet, because I'm sitting here patient as fuck. And I don't blame Bobby Rex for what he did. He was just like, fuck that, I'm putting this shit up now. But I've been very patient and respectful and sitting on it. But yeah, fucking hell, it's dragging on.
It's just, yeah, I mean, lots of people, lots of different storylines are hanging in. Like, Harry Baker, for example. This is a guy that tours, that doesn't need it, but it's helpful to have these battle clips as well. Like, you want that to come out. It's just a great shame. Thank God Press 1 versus Bilzar eventually dropped, but it was the pay-per-view angle. It's a bit sad, isn't it, really? It's a bit, I don't want to use the word pathetic, but it's just a bit, it's a bit depressing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. It's fucking... You wouldn't have got the same performance out of me if I could see now where I would be today. I'd be so like, yeah, now that shit round is over, it's time, that would have been my delivery.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
You call it a bit of a reach in the third Serious, but you give it him. He calls you an anorexic raccoon with Down syndrome.
Yeah. That's like a Mike Assassin bar.
Sure. Yeah. But he gets a reaction, and you can always tell when someone can't quite come up with enough to battle someone, where they'll scheme off the card. So Serious does like, ain't that what a checkpoint for? And where the bills are, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Well, he did his thing, mate. He did his thing.
Yeah, he did. And regardless, maybe listeners, you're not ever going to see this battle, but hopefully you've got an impression that it was a great performance. And what were you thinking afterwards? Were you happy with the performance?
Yeah, I think I clearly won.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always think, I think I could, I don't know. I mean, to me, maybe not to anyone else, but to me, it showed that I wasn't that motivated in that battle, even though maybe that's still like above what many people's performances would be. To me, I could do even better than that.
Yeah, maybe against Shuffle. But
yeah. Well, it's fucking pointless now. I mean, you know what else is fucked about that situation? Again, for people that aspiring to hold some sort of title means something. Where's the fucking title at now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who is the champion? It's just like it's just all went a bit crazy thanks to the Don't Flop thing happening.
I know, and just King of the Dot at the moment, their title change and challenges is just a bit boring and through the motions. But Don't Flop had such a crop of talent vying for that title. Like with Shocks holding it, obviously with you and Shuffle going for it. Give it to Dialect, Gemini, Quill could go in the mix. Yunnan even. It's just a bit of disappointment overall, I guess.
Yeah, mate. I mean, I was looking forward. I mean, don't get it twisted. As soon as I seen this shit go that way, I went and done a bunch of other stuff. Like I said, I wrote that album. I spent maybe 2 months to write that. I fucking wrote a film script. I took like a month to write that.
Right.
I just fucking need to keep being creative, man. In my spare time when I'm not working. So yeah, I just moved from one thing to the next, mate. And now I'm almost fully finished recording this album.
Yep.
I'll move on to something else again. Whether it be a battle or write another project or write another script or whatever.
That's awesome. You wrote the script. I think I saw Psychosis post something about that a while ago. So I mean, is that like new for you? Have you written scripts before or?
All right. So I randomly got asked to try writing a segment. Like one of my friends was writing a horror anthology, and that's my favourite shit. Right, Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, anything that's little short stories intertwined or by themselves with little twists at the end, because the twist at the end is the punchline, right? And I've always liked how original punchlines. I appreciate it in any art form. Even when you look at a picture, then you turn that shit upside down and it makes a different picture. That's like a punchline in a picture. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so I just appreciate a clever punchline. So anyway, so I wrote this short segment, and my mate said it was sick. So I was sitting there and I was thinking about this other story. Me and Dee were talking, and we thought we were bouncing ideas off of each other, and we came up with a story about these two boxers, and one boxer, like, they train at a gym, and one boxer thinks the other one's fucking his wife. So when they're sparring after the gym closes, he like hits him, but the dude dies. So this story's all about this boxer having to smuggle this dead body out of the gym in a heavy bag.
Right.
He puts the body in a heavy bag, so it's all about that. But then I wrote this other story about this serial killer, right? So and that one ends with a serial killer having to leave with a body in his boot. So I thought it would be funny then if their two cars crashed into each other, and then the bodies fell out, and then they had to, like, you know, body up. And then it just turned into this mad story, mate. So it's like a little anthology horror script, but it's new territory. But don't get it twisted, mate. Like, if you're a creative person, you can, if you understand, if you see the way in one thing, you see it in all things. Right. You just understand that it takes an effort, it takes a grind to learn the craft. But if you're creative, as long as you put the work in, learning the technical side of it, your creativity will always be there. So,
Awesome, man. Great, man. Great to hear that. And you mentioned the music as well. So you were saying to me just before we went on air, like, you've got all the verses and everything's done on your end, but you're just going to take a little while to put together musically, mastering.
Yeah. And, like, there's so many tracks in it where it's just battle bars. I'm making it a testament to, like, mate, I wrote so many fucking battle bars for this album. There's like 5 tracks where I'm talking about real shit, and like the other 12 tracks are all just like banging underground boom bap hip hop beats with sick bars on them. So yeah,
brilliant.
All written. Wrote that shit in 2 months, mate. 2
months. Shit. I remember you talking about what was it? You had like a 6-month boot camp, just all you guys writing bars for like ever and ever, and it's on tape, isn't it, or something? You mentioned.
No, we weren't writing any bars.
No,
we didn't pre-write anything. It was all freestyle battle raps.
Yeah. I think someone actually commented on our original episode how that is like. Yeah. Here's the comment. I would actually pay money to see the footage that What's His Face has of them training for Jump Off. That's a piece of history. I pay money for that. Like,
mate, I could call What's His Face right now and just demand the footage off him if you really want.
Well, I just from a historian, from a fan, I think a lot of people would be interested in seeing that. But I guess you know, moving forward, like, do you see yourself battling in 2018 at all, or?
I see myself doing whatever I think fits. So if something comes along like Tony or Serius that fits, then yeah, I see myself doing that. I'm not opposed to it.
Sure.
But it's. To be honest, it's not on me to decide that. As long as it's a credible opponent and a respectful fee, I'll be there. So, but yeah, it's just obviously a slim pickings due to the level of my past 2 opponents, because I don't at this point want to take a step backwards and just start battling every other month against, you know, guys, middle tierish sort of guys or whatever, just to keep doing battles. I'm not interested in that.
What about you versus Soul?
Well, yeah, that's obviously one we spoke about on the last podcast as well. I'm not opposed to it, but I mean, it's weird because my focus had completely changed because the title had changed. So I was more interested in battling Shocks.
Right.
Now, obviously, Soul's a top level opponent. I wouldn't be opposed to battling him, but it's the landscape that's fucking dodgy now, isn't it?
Yeah, what league would it really be on? I know what you're saying. It's
unless King of the Dot wants to put up the P for that, we can fly over there and do that. God. That's not a problem.
Oh my! Is that a goal of yours to go over there?
It's not that. I mean, much love to KOTD. Yep. Organic's always been cool with me. He's tried to hook me up with battles previously in the past, and for one reason or another, they never worked out at the time. But KOTD's the biggest thing over there. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't think I need to do that to cement what I've done in battle rap, because I've had top level international opponents come to me, but at the same time I think I'd smash it there. I wouldn't be one of these people that got nervous or this or that, and my delivery was different. I mean, you'll get the exact same me every time I battle, mate. I think I'd smash it over there. So yeah. That's something I wouldn't mind doing, just to show them what I can do live and that. But
yeah, it makes sense as a world domination matchup, I guess, for them, just to kind of differentiate it, and just from a talent battle perspective as well. It would be awesome to see you over there. But I guess finally, BA, like your socials, your Bandcamp, how do people get at your material?
Right, well, just now I've got a SoundCloud, so if you search for Respek BA on SoundCloud, you'll find that. And I've got my previous mixtape and album free to listen to on YouTube and all of that shit. Basically, most of my tracks are on YouTube. Having said that, it'll be the official Respek BA YouTube, so YouTube/official Respek BA, where like videos for my new album will go up on, and the album eventually will go up on and shit like that. The album should be finished in about February. It's going to be fucking dope, by the way. I'm telling you right now, it's so sick.
Yeah.
Even from the beat perspective, it's all produced by the one guy. And it's just my kind of hip hop through and through, and I love his production style. So yeah, right. I'm proper looking forward to it dropping.
Yeah, me too. Definitely, everyone check out Slimehouse TV. Check out all the podcast episodes that Respek has done with Psychosis, Lowdown Shelter. They're fantastic. Check out our Battle Rap Resume episode, which was it was quite a while ago now, about 5 or 6 months ago. So went through all the history and everything up to Tony. As always, Respek, it's been so good to have you on, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, mate. Anytime, bro.